Season 2, Episode 3, The Heiress. This is the Bo-Katan episode. Let's just call it what it is. Can I say something real quick? Just real quick. Someone linked me a video of the chase scene in the Book of Boba Fett. It's really bad. Like, it's really bad. It's shockingly bad. Like, it's one of those things where even at a glance you could tell how bad it is. But if I were to sit down, I didn't do this, obviously I didn't have time, I was working on the episode, but if I sat down and really just went through second by second, I could just absolutely destroy that entire sequence. Like, it just fails at every level. It's really quite funny in how awful it is. Yeah, the slow chase. The speeder chase through what I imagine is Mos Eisley. Anyways, getting back to this episode. Oh man, like I know a lot of you have been upset that I've been getting a lot of yellows and oranges to Mandalorian, but I'm thinking Boba Fett might be looking at greens as the ceiling overall. Jesus Christ. So I have to point out one other complaint about the hyperspace thing. I know. We spent like 15 minutes discussing it last episode, and it was all I had to talk about. Just bear with me for 5 seconds. Because there's one other issue with the hyperspace thing in the previous episode. And I realized it because this episode showed it during the previously on section. When Mando is told, hey, you have to go and go sublight, his reaction isn't, are you stupid? I'm not spending months or years traveling sublight across the sector. Instead, what he says is, what? Going slow will get me killed. Going fast is what keeps me alive. Hey, Sluggeretta. I haven't seen you in a while, although you did do the question incorrectly. I hate to keep asking these kind of questions. Up. I hate to keep killing these bots. Hang on. Bot kill engaged. No, bot kill. There we go. Bot kill. Hello, Evo. But the ship comes into Atmo, and it's all on fire, and everything's destructing, and this can make sense. Like, I'm not poking holes or nitpicking, but why is it that the ship is having so many issues entering atmosphere here? I know that sounds like a strange direction to take that question, but I'm serious. Because it's a question, right? Like, ships come into atmosphere all the time, and his hull's still there. I have seen Breaking Bad, although not in a very long time. So why is it like, oh my god, we're barely surviving? I actually came up with 2 answers myself. First, there's just not enough armor there, and so the ship's having issue because there's no armor keeping the ship intact. But honestly, that feels like that'd be a problem regardless at this point. Also, if he was like if the fire was burning things and there's holes in the ship, which means the internal part of the ship is exposed, does that mean like all his stuff is now ash? That's very strange, Bonnet Punk, but he's banned. I can't even interact with him anymore. He's off my list. Don't click random links in chats, everybody. If you do that, that's kind of your fault. Seriously, don't click links in chat. My second thought was maybe it's because they don't have shields, but then I realized, does this ship even have shields? Oh, don't mistake me, he probably doesn't have military-grade shields. He doesn't have anything like, say, an X-Wing has or an actual military ship has, but does he have, basic navigational shields? And those are off right now, and that's why this is happening? I don't know, just random thoughts. Just debating. So, they come all the way down. And they're about to land perfectly. And then into the water. This is pretty much exactly how they always behaved like the Millennium Falcon was back in the original trilogy. Remember that? What a hunk of junk! But no, it's actually this is what the Millennium Falcon should have actually looked like, because the Millennium Falcon was actually a pretty well customized high-end ship. This ship, it's astonishing that this thing can still fly. Yeah. I do like the trawler bit out of the AT-AT thing. In fact, actually a mobile crane, you know, an all-terrain walker crane makes a lot of sense, especially on a literal naval port like this one. I'm with it. I'm with it completely. Also, no visible holes in the cockpit where the thing slammed through the 8 glasses. I know that's a weird thing to point out, but you're the one who had them slam through the cockpit, not me. Can you fix it? No, but I can make it fly. That got an amusement of me. I love this planet. I do. Like, this planet's awesome. First of all, it's nice to see something different from, you know, the desert or the usual. But it's also really nice because it makes sense. They flat out said that this is a planet where my people can live and be comfortable regularly. And it's this big, you know, swampy, humid water planet kind of a setup, which, yeah, that tracks perfectly. It's also got tons and tons of Quarrons and Mon Calamari all over the place, which again makes sense, right? Like this little fishing thing. I'm with it. I'm completely with it. Yeah, we know what's going on with all that stupid sand. And I did like the reunion scene between the two frog people. It's weirdly wholesome. It's a nice, the way I wrote it in my notes is it's a nice spot of general decency. So, thumbs up. Now, having said that, I realized another reason Season 2 hasn't quite been working for me yet, and that's because it's been a vector chain. What I mean by that, you don't see this very often in games, because most games realize this is a terrible idea. You actually see this a lot in movies, of all things. You get the quest to go to here, and that person tells you to go talk to this person, who tells you to go talk to this person, who tells you to go talk to this person, who tells you to go talk to this person, who tells you to go talk to this person. Now, this person might have... Oh, no, they tell you to talk to this person. How long the chain is varies, but you know what I'm talking about, right? It's a vector chain. You're just going from vector to vector to vector to vector, trying to get to whatever it is you're actually after. I'm not super against it, but it does... Every time he gets to another step where it's like someone else tells him to go to another part of the step, it just kind of keeps making me go, Now, pause. The reason I'm not answering you, Sluggerud, is because I'm in the middle of talking about something else. I didn't want to interrupt myself. That's why I didn't answer. You don't have to repeat yourself 4 times. I saw your question. You also need to put the exclamation mark before the Q for the bot to actually get it, not the other way around. Either way, I actually don't remember any of the villains of Breaking Bad. It's been a very, very long time, over 10 years since I've seen that show. However, if you put a gun to my head right now and force me to pick someone, I'd probably go with the titular character himself. So, I hate to keep bringing this up, because this is either good attention to detail or bad attention to detail, and I'm not sure which. But the Mando himself seems to have no particular problems constantly paying people for stuff. Did you notice that? And yet, every time he doesn't pay someone for stuff, he's so low on money that this is too fast. He's so low on money that he's having trouble even keeping his ship fueled. So which is it? Does he have money or does he not? And it just kind of likes to bounce back and forth between the two. Now, the reason I said this might actually work reasonably well is because virtually every episode he ends up having to kill someone who is trying to kill him or the child. So if he's looting the people as he goes... Anyways, either way. You remember how I've complained about both the Gamorreans and the Twi'leks in this show? You know one thing I don't complain about? The Quarrons or the Mon Calamari. Both of them actually look pretty good. Like, this is probably the best Quarrons I've seen outside of like a 3D space, you know, digital space. And the Mon Cal look pretty solid, down to the hand flippers. I don't have anything else to add to that. It's just, I was just like, yeah, these look good. I probably wouldn't have even noticed if not for the fact that the Twi'leks and the Gamorreans kind of made me go, so the Quarrons betray him. Yeah. And there's this really funny tidbit, because I was in the middle of typing something about how stupid these people were and how he was about to make them regret ever having been born for the 50,000th time again. And then, the cavalry comes in to rescue him. And I could tell literally immediately that it was Bo-Katan, which of course I could, because I just saw her last week. I mean, You know, it's sort of hard not to immediately get that reference. Still, it's a nice scene. It's a nice rescue scene. I don't want to sound too unkind. It's weird how much Mando was completely overpowered and completely powerless in this situation, given the fact that he's Mando. He needs to be rescued by these people, which is there to establish their cred. And that's the exact moment I realized why I didn't like this scene. Because the reason this is here is because they need viewers who don't know Bo-Katan to understand who she is. This is her establishing scene. So they kick over the competency of the Mando temporarily so he can be rescued, and she and her squad can do this thing, right? Yeah, exactly, Rax. Like, he has to act stupid here in ways that are kind of out of character so that she can be established. I like Bo-Katan. I did back in Clone Wars Season 7, and I do here. It's just this one and only scene just kind of makes me go... I'm lying, actually. I shouldn't lie to you. Because if you remember, literally the next scene is him getting on land and a bunch of Quarrents jumping him, and then jumping in and saving him again. Can we... Moving on. I do, however, very much like another scene. And this is great for people who know the series and who don't. They land, he's like, thank you very much. They pull off their helmets. He freezes up. Just on the spot, like... And his body... I love his body language. You could tell how much that throws him. How much he's having trouble dealing with it. And then the first thought is, you're not Mandalorian. Like, they stole the outfits, right? That they stole the equipment. And she's like, no, we are. And then she and her cohorts realize who he is. And it's this wonderful, surprisingly tense scene. Yeah, you notice I didn't say Pedro because I wasn't sure if it was him in the outfit. There's this surprisingly tense scene between the two. They also are. It's the first time they flat out state that that Mando's tribe, his particular clan, is a cult. And that makes perfect sense. Everything we've seen about them up until now absolutely shows that he has been a part of the cult, the Child of the Watch, exactly. So, yeah, no, that tracks completely. This also lines up for anybody who is familiar with the Mandalorians and how they have never really had any issues with removing their helmets before. Oh, I noticed, Bionic Bug. Interesting little tidbit there. So it's a good tense scene, it's a good exposition scene, and it's a good establishment scene. It does everything right that the action scenes failed. Yes, as some people tend to forget, including, I think, her herself, Bo-Katan actually helped Maul to take power on Mandalore, so good job, Bo. Anyways. So then there's another nice scene. What do you know? She actually asks him, I have to go take this child to the Jedi. What do you know of the Jedi? Nothing. And she just seems to smile for like just a half second, right? Because Bo-Katan, remember, has interacted with how many Jedi at this point? At the very least, Ahsoka and Obi-Wan, and if you want to argue this, Maul. Yeah. Yeah, she's got some experience here. I do like how she doesn't do the boring exposition thing of turning the camera. I once interacted with Obi-Wan Kenobi. No, they don't need to do that. Good stuff. Oh yeah, also Anakin. I forgot about that. Anakin was in that too. So, we have another side quest. Yeah, did you know I fought in the Clone Wars? Don't need to do that. Don't need to do that. So another side quest. Go help us take out that ship, and we'll let you, I'll help you out this with us. Okay. I also love how the frog couple instantly and without hesitation says, yeah, we'll watch your kid for you. Nice touch. Also kind of a nice touch that they're expecting parents, and in fact are very, very fresh parents. So that kind of lines up too. And again, they're just kind of weirdly wholesome. Thumbs up. No complaints about the frog people. Did we ever get her name? So then we see... Yeah, I know, I saw that too, Bionic Punk. Keep him away from the baby frog. No, this was a good side quest. Again, the fact that we keep doing side quests isn't the part that bothers me. In fact, actually, I rather like the side questy approach this show. I've said that before. It's the side quests that work that are really good. You remember Sanctuary back in Season 1? That was one of, if not my favorite episode of Season 1. And that did some solid stuff. And that was pure side quest. So, yeah, 3 eggs are missing. Honey, where did your 3 eggs go? So, we see the freighter. The freighter looks so Star Wars it almost hurts, doesn't it? The shape, the geometry, like the angles of how the front curves in, the greebling on it. I'm not even complaining. It's just, you look at that ship and you think Star Wars. It's that visual, the branding again, right? The visual shorthand, the style. You see it, you know it immediately. Yeah, it looks like a Star Wars version of a Battlestar. And then we have what can only be referred to as the fun section of the episode. I've had a couple of complaints up to this point, but it's all really minor stuff. Then this is just them having fun. This is just Bo-Katan completely running over everything while Mando happens to be here. However, I have to engage my brain and ask a very simple question. Why is Mando here? They did not need him at all. He engaged in that overall battle, and I was paying attention once. One time in the entire battle did he do anything of any particular note or worth. The rest of the time, they just ran over the Imperials. In fact, the imps are shown almost universally as comic relief in this episode. The stormtroopers are one step away from B-1 battle droids, and the officers are incompetent to the point of hilarity. And so... Huh? Yeah, he shot maybe 3 guys. Why is he here? Now, this, as is so often in this show, this could have been smoothed over a little bit if they had just done a little bit more polishing. If it had been made clear that the whole reason she wanted him here was that... You know, I mean, you're right, Bannock. The reason is because plot. Because they were going to sail the ship away on the spot, and that meant he needed to be there to get the info. But I feel like this could have worked better if it was made clear, because this is just my read on it, that she was trying to recruit him. She even says flat out, Mandalorians work better as a team. We work better when we're together. And they even name drop a lot of things about the Purge. Mando himself is the one who says that planet is a death planet. Nobody can survive on Mandalore anymore. So that would have worked a little bit better. Instead, it's just kind of like, all right, come here. Okay. Again, it's not a big complaint. Not really. It just feels kind of tacked on, like they didn't have a time to streamline it a little bit. Anyways, favorite Superman villain, other than the obvious Luthor. What's a really good Superman villain? I'm not sure I can think of one off the top of my head. I could cheat and say Mixelplex. Brainiac. I've never been a huge fan of Brainiac, to be honest with you. He varies a lot depending on which specific thing he's in. Because I've seen him done well, and then I've seen him... Anyways, so one of my favorite little jokes they have is there's this bit where we've locked them in the cargo control area. Where have you locked them? In the cargo control area. I will admit, I actually got a legitimate laugh out of that. That caught me. But then there's a weird scene which makes no sense. Mando is upset about them taking the ship. Why? I know what he says. He says, you know, that wasn't the deal. And she's like, I'm altering the deal. Pray I'm not altering it any further. But in all honesty, what was he expecting here? They're on a ship that's currently escaping. How does he imagine they're going to get these giant-ass containers, bigger than a person, of loot off the ship? The most logical possible way to get this loot, even if all you care about is the loot, is to just hijack the ship. So I'm not sure where his complaint is here. Yeah, they already said they wanted the ship. They already mentioned that. So why is this a thing where he's like, hang on, we need to have an argument. And she's like, this is the way. And he's like, I will do whatever you command, master. So Gideon orders the captain to self-destruct. And for just a second, I thought that what was going to be happening is the 2 pilots would turn on the captain and then be like, all right, we'll surrender. And I was actually kind of down for that. But no, instead, the captain kills the pilots and then decides to suicide because, you know, zealotry. As has been pointed out earlier, what's left of the Imperial remnant at this point is probably the hardliners, because all of the Imperials who were decent people joined the rebellion. All of the Imperials who were leaning towards decent people joined the New Republic. All the Imperials who were not good people or were bad people probably just bailed and went on to become bounty hunters or squad enforcers or whatever. So all you really have left is the neo-fascists at this point, right? Long live the Empire, right? Like, it makes perfect sense. And, yeah, no, I agree, Cashel. It was a nice way to showcase it. We do know that the First Order actively conscripts, but in a way that is kind of brainwashy and very horrifying. So, yeah, I can't believe you heard that, Mr. Red. So now they're spinning things off for Bo-Katan, who is specifically sending people off to go contact Ahsoka Tano. We already had a whole discussion about this last episode. Or maybe 2 episodes ago now. It was 2 episodes ago. It was back during the Marshal. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole again. All I'm just going to say is, okay, we're just going to move past this. Yeah, God, what are we up to? So we've got Book of Boba Fett. We've got Ahsoka show. There was the Ranger show that was supposed to happen. I feel like there's another one I'm missing that was spun off here. Like before the current episode we're at. What was Bo-Katan's show? Because she did have a show that she was going to get. I don't remember what it's called right now. Or maybe I'm just misremembering and I'm an idiot. I mean, do you think she would be on a show called The Mandalorian? Maybe it was Bo-Katan's show. I don't know. How is the Star War? Oh. A rap battle, Darkseid or Darth Sidious? Well, Darth Sidious has a brain and Darkseid's an idiot, so that's a pretty easy answer there. The Bo-Katan thing doesn't bother me as much as it should. As much as I complain about the member berries and the backdoor piloting, it makes a lot of sense that Bo-Katan would be in a show called The Mandalorian, interacting with him. In fact, she's even used well. Obviously, she's talking about Mandalore, the city, or the planet, excuse me. The planet. And obviously, there's something that they're going into, and blah, 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 blah. But even right here, this is still about him and developing him. We learn about him, his cult, and how other Mandalorians view him and his cult here. They don't do much about it. It's really just 2 scenes. But still, she is at least here doing something for the existing characters rather than existing for her own right. Oh yeah, she's also specifically looking for the Darksaber, which we saw back at the end of Season 1. So, I'm with this. There's no real complaining here. And it once again emphasizes how this technique can work, but also can't work, depending, right? So we see, we see the ship. Literal patch job. They have bolted plates of metal onto the ship to try and keep this thing. And it literally has, like, tackle and ropes inside the ship. I love Moncals. I really do. It's a freaking sailing vessel. And off they go to new adventures, which will lead to the episode The Siege, which is the next episode. Which will be coming tomorrow. By the way, it's gotten late enough that I don't think we should push that. How are we feeling about this one? There's a load-bearing octopus. Who's my favorite Sith? I would say either Darth Thanaton or Darth Barriss would be probably my 2 immediate picks. Sluggeretta. I rather enjoy the episode too. It has a couple of bumps and it has a couple of holes, and it has other things we've already talked about. So why go watch the tour run? So I think I'm going to go ahead and agree that this should be an orange. This is a good damn episode. Again, probably one of my favorites so far. I would still probably put this overall as my number 2 episode of the ones we've seen so far. But this is still some good stuff. and I'm still very much enjoying it. I didn't complain about the action. Is it less overly edited right now? No. But I got tired of complaining about it. So, I went out of my way to stop complaining about the over-edited action sequences, because nobody cares about that. I'm the only one who cares. I get it. I get it. I get it. Oh, woe is me to be the only one who understands true action. No, that's not where I'm going with that. But I do get tired. Wrong way to put that. I feel like I get boring complaining about the same thing over and over. So, yeah, I'm just going to try and shut up about the editing. And just kind of... It's like Mega Man, right? So I'm going to do a review of Mega Man 4. Here's the negative. What's the negative for? It's a Mega Man game. Let's just give the negative and move on. God, it wasn't 3 cuts. It was closer to like 10 Shadow Machine. It's a lot. How many is... Actually, you know what? Hang on. Let me pull something up really quick here. For real. Yeah, if there's ever a fight scene which is not overly edited, I will notice immediately. Is it 15? Hang on, I'm actually going to pull it up right now. Okay, so I need to mute this. Mute. Okay. Oh my god! Oh my god! I need to slow it down. That is so many. That is so many in such a short period of time. Okay, hang on. So let's half the playback speed. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is at half speed. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 edits in 6 seconds. Oh my god. 14 edits in 6 seconds of a guy going over a fence. Let me be clear. This isn't that bad. But that's like the example. That is the textbook example of overly edited drivel. Holy crap. Okay, so the ideal number of edits for a scene, it depends on the scene. That's almost the problem. You want your edits to be bespoke. You remember the scene I actually pointed to, which was the fight with the Mudhorn? In my opinion, there should have been 2, 3, technically, edits in that scene. They should have shown the thing coming out. We should have cut to Mando trying to get his gun ready, recognizing that it's not working. We should have cut to Baby Yoda watching the fight and being freaked out by it. And then we should have cut to him being knocked over by it and the rest of the scene. So that's 3 edits, right? That's it. Instead of 15 or whatever it was. I forget the number right now, but it was a lot. Sometimes 1 edit will do. You know, sometimes 3, sometimes 8. It depends. Yeah, as few as possible is generally a good rule, but there are reasons to do hyper-editing when it comes to this kind of a thing. There are valid reasons to do this, but you have to be trying to get across something like either phonetics or something that's actually deliberately confusing, and you don't do that too much. So you can't do that too often, and you can't do that too long. Let me use an example. Let's say it's me and Rax, and I'm like, all right, Rax, let's go. And Rax is like, bring it. And then, like, I charge him, and then he jumps because he's a Dragoon. He takes me into the air, and then we have this extremely frenetic fight of us just, like, grappling in the air. Now, that could work overly edited, because at that point, what it's conveying is just how hectic and insane it is as we're fighting in the air. But the thing is, the longer that lasts, the less impact that has. And if you do that for every fight scene in that work, it doesn't work. So to explain this differently, let's say in the course of this episode, I fight Mr. Red, Bionic Punk, Nero Zaz, and Reximus, right? So Bionic Punk and me are like, yeah, let's go. And it's this big fight scene. It's a long shot, and we see most of the fight in a static shot. I go to Mr. Red. Mr. Red destroys me with his Despero beam, but then I grab the beam and I smash it over his head. Okay. And then I'm right around Nero's ass, and Nero's ass shoots me. Oh, God, and I'm barely struggling. And I go after him, and all of these are long shots, static fights. So the only one that's over-edited is the one with me and Rax in the air doing like this, just to emphasize how this is happening while you're in that shot. And then you come down, and then you go back to more static shots. Not everything has to be a one-shot. I do think that those are a little bit overpraised, especially since there's also the fake one-shot, which is getting really, really popular, I've noticed, especially amongst larger film snobs. But minimal edits is almost always a good thing, something that we want, and this is not that. Also, can I just say really quick, one of my favorite one-shots is actually over in Black Panther during the club scene, if you know the one. That's a really good one. Either way, I did like seeing Bo-Katan in action. They did a good job with her. Good episode, Orange. Tomorrow, roughly 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to go ahead and do Season 2, Episode 4, The Siege. Which I have no idea how long that is, so I don't know. Let's see you the next time.